Welcome to the Wellness Dentist Podcast. Join biological and cosmetic dentist Dr. Katie Toe as she explores holistic wellness through trending ideas, real stories, and patient experiences. This podcast will inspire you to make healthy lifestyle choices and take charge of your dental wellness. And now your host, the Wellness Dentist, Dr. Katie Toe.
Hi, welcome to the Wellness Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Katie Tell, and today I have a guest traveling from really far away, and one of a dear friend and a great mentor and a great influencer too, because so many people turn to him for answer. And I know you know him. That's Dr. Dom. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Katie, for having me. Hey, guys.
I can tell you look amazing, even though you're just traveling so far, all the way from Germany to come here at the IBDM conference. And the
Thank you.
title was Biohacking.
Yeah.
And I know I loved your talk yesterday. It was a full room, like 200, dentists is in there listening about your journey. However, people here also curious, how did you get started this journey? Because less than 0.1% people in the world practicing this way. So
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. First of all, thank you for having me, and it's an amazing conference. Always there to inspire. So it started a long time ago. Roughly when I was 21 years old, I crashed with health issues. It was essentially I had mental health issues. From being like I am normally, very high passionate energy person, I just crashed overnight and got depressed. My bad, because I just had too much partying. I think I drank from 14 years onwards straight. And at one point, of course, the body crashes. But this was early 2000s, meaning there was literally no YouTube yet, no Dr. Google. I just had to refer to local doctors. And I just wanted to be normal again, my normal, just not in a negative state and crying and whatever, just be normal again. No one could help me because mental health issues back in the day was kind of like, you're doomed. That's for life. I'm like, no. And I needed to find a way. So I started obviously to stop drinking. I started nutrition, training, and this was all parallel to university already. I just had to get healthy again, and I learned so many things, which you would now call maybe biohacking. So I got deep into supplementation already, the nutrition. This all helped me to at one point figure it out. Like it took me almost the whole university, I think almost 5 years to figure out what my problem was. There was one book I read, in thousands of books I read, which was called The Edge Effect from Eric Braverman. I don't know if you read it. It's all about neurotransmitters. And there's a test in it, which I still use for my patients. A neurotransmitter profile test is literally a yes and no answer profile. But he's a psychologist. He was able to combine body and the mind. Because your neurotransmitters are built in your gut, but what happens actually in your mind? Yeah, right. Only 5% are coming there. So I took this test, and it shows your genetic profile, which is the neurotransmitters, dopamine, acetylcholine, GABA, serotonin. And I'm a dopamine dominant person. I just had a lack of dopamine. I'm like, that is easy to fix. So it took me literally a week. I just ordered the precursors because I'm good in biochemistry. I know my stuff.
Yeah.
Took the program, and came out of it normal again, like completely normal. And I'm like, that's not possible. So what is the next level? So it kind of started, I got super addicted, and I realized, oh, my journey of kind of helping me to heal overall or become normal again, I can use this maybe for my patients. So this was about the time when I started as a dentist. Right after university, I fixed my health to the normal again, which is not where I'm at now.
Not
I just
optimal.
not
optimal.
normal, but normal was good enough. But I was like, there must be more. So I started my residency at an oral surgeon, a great skilled implantologist, but he was also an old school dentist at the same time. So titanium implantology, he did courses, I learned a lot and was amazing, but his dental skills were kind of insurance-based, so he placed amalgam fillings. And I was like, I cannot do this. Aesthetically, I could not place an amalgam filling. We learned in university still, right? So I told him in the first week, I'm not going to do amalgam. I bring in composites, I do ceramics. We learned this in university. I just had a bold statement, right? And he was most likely thinking, what is this little dude here talking to me like this? But I never placed amalgam filling, but of course, he had an immense amount of patients with amalgam fillings. So I started drilling out amalgam fillings safely because I learned about mercury fillings then, and YouTube started, so I learned about Dietrich Klinghardt and Joachim Mutter.
Vapor that you cannot see what you
Exactly. So my health things came into learning about why do I not do amalgam fillings. Okay, aesthetically, I don't like them, but I knew from my dad, who was a dentist, he didn't do it for 20 years. So, but I didn't learn this in university, so I had to look into this. What is the problem? Mercury, right? So I thought, oh wow, it's the holy grail. I'm going to help all my patients heal and get out of their health issues by removing mercury fillings safely. So I implemented this. The only thing I didn't do, and I think this resonates with you, I didn't protect me. I just protected them. So I drilled out sometimes day by day mercury filling, and I inhaled all the vapor, which made me even unhealthier again on a different level. So after a year or so, I realized, okay, it's not the holy grail. There must be more. So luckily I had Dietrich Klinghardt as my mentor, and he is, in my opinion, one of the best biological dentists, even though he isn't one, because he was always so strict about oral interference. So I learned about root canal problems and about titanium implants and about the cavitations, which are chronic silent inflammation of the jawbone. We don't learn in university yet, right? But Sharam is here, and finally he gets the papers. So it is for every conventional dentist out there. It's a thing. And then I obviously learned more and more and more, implemented the things. And what clicked with me essentially was I became a functional medicine doctor, a naturopathic doctor. I learned all of this, neurotherapy. I went all over the world to learn different things, to learn more and more and more, because I thought, I wasn't sure about the dentistry thing still. I was still thinking, okay, I like the manual work, it's always easy for me, I'm a very good surgeon and stuff, but I want to help patients, right? So this was missing in university, and I realized in my first 2 years, this is the missing link. So I thought I'm going to be a consultation for functional medicine until I realized with specific cases, when I took out a root canal for a patient, their overall health just improved extremely. So I realized I'm at the right spot as a dentist. This is just the missing link for me was I want to help patients overall. This is the fulfilling part. So I think when I started practicing myself, I had one patient, young man, maybe 25 years old. No one could help him in medicine. So I don't know why he came to us, but he was puking every night. No one knew why. So he was already in the depression mode and psychosomatic, and no one could help him. You know how it is. And I was like, okay, on the x-ray, I just see this one root canal tooth, but I now know root canal treated teeth might be an issue for your overall health. So I told him, this one is sitting on this specific anatomic system, meridian system. Let's just take it out safely and see what happens. And overnight, he never puked again for the next 6 months. I optimized his health, his lifestyle, his nutrition was always the protocol. And within maximum 6 months, he came back to normal life, 10 kilos more muscle. He could start his career as judoka again. And this was just a lot of these moments happened. And I realized, oh, wow, oral health is the missing link to overall health optimization. And this is when I started to systemize all this. And this was back in 2009 and 2010. So I already had my first, I would call it a goal sheet, a visionary paper where I knew exactly how the clinic of the future should look like, because I was experimenting. I told you yesterday on stage, experimenting with IVs. I learned from Tom Levy, who you have here today, reading all his books. So I just got super interested in everything about health, kind of like got addicted and wanted to learn everything. And now, 20 years later, I'm just the health expert that I would have needed as a 20-year-old to tell me this is the roadmap to back to normal, and it will take you 2 weeks. So I could get this little guy out of fear mode. And this is just fulfilling to me, and then creating all these systems in that process led me to being here now and having 15 years later, having the systems, creating a biodentistry global standard, implementing all of this and helping as many people as possible with social media, with teaching, educating. So yeah, it's just my passion and my purpose. And every single guy or let's say every single dentist out there, if female or male, this is the future of our profession, from a technician to the health expert. And I'm just a coffee filter for you guys to implement this.
What a beautiful transformation story, because I can tell you that it's from pain to purpose. I've seen that theme in so many healers. Like they went through pain first, and then they stop accepting that fate. And it's like, oh, that's not my fate. I'm going to change it. That's not going to be who I am for the rest of my life. And then through that journey, you were like, oh my gosh, I can help so many patients. I have so many dentists. And that's exactly what you're doing now. I love that you have so many fan and student here. And that speaks for itself, because they also practicing. And your ripple effect is you helping so many more patients because you would train these dentists.
Exactly. So, and our goal should be, of course, we want to do the craft, right? This is I think it's an art form. And of course, we want to do the best aesthetic dentistry, we want to do digital dentistry, smile. You do it, right? You're Coachman certified.
Yeah.
Smile design, backward planning. I mean, this is architecture, and this is fulfilling, and this is a craft. But it's also amazing if you can help your patients heal overall and help them on their journey to heal overall, and create museum of life moments while doing your dentistry. So it's a new category in dentistry. It's not contrary to conventional dentistry. It's just the next level, the dental evolution.
I love that. Next level. It's not alternative, because a lot of people think
No,
biological dentistry is alternative. And, I think that had to be considered that's the next level of dentistry.
it is
Just
the
like back in
evolution.
the day, biohacking, right? People were like, oh, wow, these people are crazy. And now everyone into it, even though I know it's a marketing term,
Yeah,
but it's optimizing.
it's optimizing. Yeah,
No longer accepting that normal is optimal, because people still feel terrible when they have normal blood work
yeah.
or normal nutrition. It's just
Exactly,
kinda-
exactly.
And so we want to optimize. We want to live healthier longer, but not longer and sicker.
Exactly. And the thing is, we are literally, guys, you're not just a dentist. You are, in my opinion, the most important doctor of the future. In Germany, you graduate as a Zahnarzt. This translates to tooth doctor. We just have to take responsibility and understand we're the physician, the physician of the whole,
Physician, yes.
oral physician, and there's a whole body connected. And at some point, we just forgot that the mouth is part of the system, and your teeth are an extension of your brain. So whatever you do there as a craftsman, this will affect the whole autonomic nervous system, immune system, hormonal system, everything health-wise. So it's literally an extension of your brain, and you can still practice your amazing graft, but you're also going to heal your patients. So after their journey, when everything is restored, they will tell you, I lost 10 kilos of body fat. I gained 5 kilos of muscle. My mental health is back. I have no more thyroid issues. My gut is better. I have no more skin eczema. And by the way, they place beautiful teeth in me that I have for my rest of my life. And I don't need to see a dentist anymore for repair. So this is fulfilling, and this is the next category. And of course, we are a huge part and a missing link in longevity, where we have to plug into functional medicine practitioners and medical doctors, because they can do this part. They're optimizing everything. They have data, they do the blood work, they do the testings,
tracking.
they do the tracking, they do everything. But upstream from all this tracking is the mouth. And they don't think about previous dental repair secretly hijacking the system, right?
Yes, I love that. And like we had Dr. Pump on the show yesterday, and he was talking about the upstream philosophy and downstream philosophy.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of patients connect with that, because they're working for years on the gut and they don't feel better. And
course not.
then they go see biological dentists, they work on the mouth, and they're like, oh my gosh, my gut problem significantly improved, because it's the downstream problem is an expression of the upstream problem. So usually I'm not just fixing the downstream and ignore the upstream. So I love that reminder.
And exactly, I mean, the mouth is the entrance to the body.
Mhm.
Guys, the mouth is the gut, right?
Yes,
It-
beginning of the gut.
Yeah, and
Super
you
important. Yes,
exactly, and you swallow about
2,000 to 3,000 times a day.
exactly,
Yes.
and so many different bacteria and bugs from your mouth. And if you have a dysbiosis in your mouth because of previous dental repair and inflammation, this will directly feed your gut. So a gut healing protocol cannot start without the mouth. It's just not impossible. That's why we have to talk to each other.
Yes.
And of course, in my systems, it's all kind of like already in there, because gut healing is changing your diet, your nutrition, implementing right macronutrients, macro and micronutrients, and then taking out the biggest detox is taking out the source. And this is something the functional medicine doctor cannot do themselves. And obviously, they have to think about it. So the goal should be we all talk to each other. We have the same software update, the same language. And as a health coach or doctor or whatever label you have to help you, the patients overall, the mouth is one of the biggest leverages. And it shouldn't come at tick number 12, 15 years in the future. It's quite early in the journey.
Yeah.
So
We see a lot of extreme to and by, up the polar. Like, I don't want to do anything with my root canals, or I want all my root canals out. I know you
yeah.
stand on that. So if someone have a root canals right now, what would you tell them? What the first thing they need to do, or what the things they need to look for?
So you mean anyone listening?
Yes. Yes.
So
Because a lot of dentists yesterday, you did the test. Stand up if you have root canals, and the room was
full.
full of people that have the.
So I usually ask 3 questions: metals in the mouth,
Mhm.
root canals, and we remove wisdom teeth. And I specifically did it also on this stage because you're all biological dentists. So I
Yes.
thought there might not be as many people standing up, right? But the same on health conference. 95% will stand up. Also here. So there's room for optimization. So if you have a root canal, of course, the question is always, what is your goal? And I'm in a bubble. All my patients had chronic health issues, or are super optimizers, high performers, athletes, entrepreneurs. They want a 10 out of 10, right? So in our system, obviously, we plan to take out all chronically infected root canals, place immediate ceramic implants, do the cavitation surgeries, and do it all in one phase, right? In one health optimization week. However, if you're listening in as a conventional dentist, you have never heard about a root canal, or you maybe be off-putting by the statement that root canals are killing you, right? That's a bullshit statement. Root canals do have their place, especially if done by an endodontic specialist, right? Because we need those for, in Germany, they're paid by insurance for acute pain. Take people out of acute pain as a short-term intervention. Or if you had a kid with trauma, right? Maybe the short-term intervention is 10 years. So they have their place. However, they are oftentimes the default solution for everything, and maybe also overdone. You would agree with this, right? People having upstream symptoms from the body, and you feel it in your mouth because of nutrient depletion, and you have 5 times pain at the dentist, you just take them out. Yeah, that's the problem. But what oftentimes is missing, what no one's talking about, is that a root canal is essentially a dead body part in your body. We have no more blood supply, no more lymph supply, no autonomic nervous system, and under electron microscope, you have tiny tubules, dentin tubules, 30 to 75,000, and they harbor anaerobic bacteria, parasites, viruses, toxins, and your innate immune system, the macrophages, they have to create an ongoing chronic inflammation. So if you are looking at root canals, specifically with cone beam scan, 3-dimensional x-rays, you will see that there's almost often, or almost always exclusively, a silent inflammation. And if it's about overall health optimization, trigger number 1 is chronic stress, chronic silent inflammation. And this is what you need to know, guys. A root canal, even though it looks beautiful on an x-ray, doesn't mean that it might not be interfering with the whole body health, because it's a dead body part sticking in here, and your trigeminus transports everything to the brain, called retrograde axonal transport. So you have to have both conversations with your patients, and if there are health issues and they're trying to optimize everything and they're already doing everything, and they're still not superhuman, it might be the splinter holding you back. And this is just the messaging. No, we don't yank out every tooth. That's just wrong. We don't go to a biological or holistic dentist and take it out and play a singing bowl right next to it. That's just wrong. If we do this, we have a strategy for long term. That's why we do immediate ceramic implants, which are beautiful, but mostly science fiction in the dental world for now. We're working on this.
Speaking of, though, a lot of dentists are actually learning how to place a cornea implant, because not that they're being honest about a number of failures in titanium implant, but they also don't really track to see what other problem people have after receiving titanium implant.
Exactly, and there's good studies for it. Like Volker von Behren in Germany has put out a lot of data about titanium sensitivity. And we know that titanium is a foreign particle. That's normal in medical. We just accepted it, and of course it's the gold standard still. But just because it's there for 40 years, right? It's not because there's better data or there's more medical guideline. So I was heavily attacked because of ceramic implants. When my book came out in 2018, it was just a bit early. Now, 8 years later, because of our work, ceramic implants are S1 medical guideline in Germany. They're higher than titanium implants. So now if you don't talk to your patients about the alternatives, you're screwed. You have to know this. So you might miss out if you don't learn about ceramic implants. But ceramic implants are only just a tool to help your patients. And I cannot take out a tooth without having a long-term strategy, because we do it immediate ceramic implants. That means we have a plan in mind, because if I can take out a tooth gently, not yanking, and keep the whole socket and anatomy alive, the implant, after cleaning everything, obviously using ozone, PRF, the implant is the perfect socket preservation. And it just stabilized the bone, and the patient never had pain. They never had a surgery, because taking out a tooth is pain-free if you know the protocols. It's essentially a scarless surgery that we do. It's painless, flat, but you see, I showed it yesterday. Biggest cases, no pain, no swelling. But this is by design.
I think a lot of people in America, especially as dentists, we train a drill, fill, and build.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And so it's really strange for them to hear about like prep work before. Wow, 4 weeks before the surgery, patient have to do this.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had to have in that bone building diet.
Yeah.
What is that diet? Because they don't know so much about nutrition. And it's not just dentists. I have to say, to be fair, a lot of medical providers
Oh, yeah.
are not very I would say fluent in nutrition,
No.
correct nutrition
Yeah.
in terms of healing. Like
Exactly.
they said, oh yeah, eat your carb, eat your macro, but
Yeah.
eat your protein, but it's not like how, like to the body and
Exactly.
to the patient, customized to the patient. So therefore, the dentist is even worse because we don't have that nutrition, training, and then we also don't have that protocol incorporated because we just numb the patient, do a procedure, and send them home.
Oh yeah, this exactly. But this is where I have the systems created over the years. Maybe luckily because it kickstarted with my own health issues. When it comes to health in the biodentistry global standard, biodentistry 3.0, you have to become a nutritionist. And I call this the food design concept. And it's essentially an umbrella above all nutritional mindsets. You can be a vegan, you could be a carnivore, you could be anything in between. I teach you to learn how to think in nutrients. Of course, it's macros, it's carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, but it's also how to specifically time those and get your patient anabolic. Anabolic means they're just able to build tissue and bone, and they're not catabolic, because the truth is, in this world, many people are just chronically ill, they have metabolic issues, they do eat too many empty calories, too many processed foods. So even though we have a lot of food available in abundance, they're not abundant in nutrients that they need for building bone.
Yeah.
So this is very streamlined by design. 1 second. I spoke too much like the last 2 days.
Yeah.
It's such an algorithm I created how to calculate this. And as you know, we, for example, scan our patients then on day 1 with the in-body scan and know exactly what's under the hood and can individualize it. But leading up to surgery, we don't start surgery on the day of surgery. We start 4 weeks, maybe even 3 months in advance to build up that patient to be able to really heal. Because a ceramic implant, for example, doesn't osseointegrate in an unhealthy body, versus titanium you can just throw in because it works through TNF-alpha and cytokines. Zirconia is just a neutral healing device that only osseointegrates if your body can build bone. And there's solid science behind it, which is in the bone healing protocol and all the stuff I'm designing. So yes, literally you can become empowered to be the nutritionist, and your whole team will be too. So you live and practice, teach and preach, and it's mandatory, but it's a living organism, and your patients will just love it, because you first of all give them a roadmap, because oftentimes nutrition becomes overcomplicated and dogmatic. We give them a roadmap. This is what you need to do. There's templates for this, literally like scheduled food eating and eating real food, essentially, how to take what, and they become the architect of their own health. And once they're there for the surgery, because on site we have the scan and IVs and everything, there's so many touch points where we empower them during this week that for the next 4 to 6 months, when there's healing, like osseointegration, rebuilding of jawbone and cavitations, they literally know exactly what to do on a daily basis, and they come back healthier overall, but also the implants are just more beautiful, the gums are better, they're osseointegrated, so not less, way more success, just also less failures in implantology. And of course, I have a lot of reps for ceramic implants. I mean, I've placed more than 5,000, and I didn't even calculate it anymore. I said it on the stage yesterday. There was a time when I was a rock star just placing implants. I would come to your clinic, 20 implants a day, ceramic implants. So it's just reps. But I also had, of course, a lot of failures, obviously, or experience. I just learned from it and realized, oh, ceramic implants do not osseointegrate like titanium implants. They need the terrain to be properly set, and it's the body that heals bone and rebuilds. And again, it's all streamlined protocols, which you then can implement, and that's it. And then your patients have it, and this empowers you. But you have to step up as the dentist. I call you then the real biodentists, right?
Yeah.
That are real health experts.
Yeah.
So the oral physicians, and this should resonate with almost every technical dentist, because in you, I think there's always this healer or this helper syndrome. I personally have this. I just want to
Everyone get into dental school. That's what they said. I want to help people.
Right.
That's how they get into healthcare. And then they're stuck in the sick care system.
Exactly. This is a good word. They're stuck in sick care system.
Yeah.
But we literally can focus on health optimization and starting in the mouth. Optimal health starts in the mouth.
Yes.
Just have to understand this, guys.
Yeah. That's the title of your book.
There's not, unfortunately, it was just a subtitle. I think my book is called "It's All in Your Mouth."
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but my hashtag or everything, the mission basically was optimal health starts in the mouth. Now this became a global movement. It's so many people. I mean, there was lots of arrows in our back at the time, which is normal when you do something different. Gandhi would said it, right? At first they laugh at you. I mean, I was a 30-year-old dude on stage, highly passionate, talking about changing everything. Of course I'm gonna get attacked, right? Then they fight you. This was a long time ago. Book came out, and then they use your protocols, which is great. You never get praise for anything, but the good thing is it's also not about me. I'm just essentially the PR agent for our movement, talking about this, because there is this global health movement and people are literally suffering. These mental health issues are in the rise. I had this 20 years ago, but it's now worse than ever because of abundance. And they're always looking for, I'm not enough, what is missing in my life, even though they have everything, right? It's an abundance issue, unfortunately. And oftentimes it's the mouth and no one's talking about it. So this became the movement, and I realized it can't be only me and people flying in for over a decade to a little town in Germany called Tübingen, which is hard to reach. It needs to go places and therefore be systemized. And now it's time to bring this to the world and scale it. But then I realize biological dentistry, longevity, biohacking, all these buzzwords are holistic. They lose marketing terms. That's why I work on a standardization for us so that we all speak the same language. And this is Biodentistry 3.0, melting the highest tech dental techniques with functional medicine, health optimization, biohacking, longevity, to guide our patients to overall health. And this is the new category, and I call it the BGS, the Biodentistry Global Standard. And I think I had to do this because I realized teaching, people or dentists will just take it a little bit and spin it off, and it's getting scattered and it's not the same information. So in
It's not
order,
the exact recipe that give you the result.
exactly, and then
taking pieces and
piecemeal
they
it.
don't get the same result, and they're like, oh, it didn't work.
Piecemeals, and then conventional dentists will say holistic, they're just doing shitty work. And I agree, unfortunately, this is oftentimes the case. But if the recipes are there and we understand we are more than just a dentist, we can still do our craftsmanship, but melt it, then we get the same results. And then it's actually the next level of normal dentistry. And it's not even against it, it's just, this is co-elevation. And we can make this so much bigger. It will resonate with so many skeptical dentists. Like all my friends in university are like me, super skeptical. But I had the time to put it in. And in Germany, they all became ceramic implant specialists. They all became biological dentists. I have lots of real biodentists in Europe. They're just a little bit ahead of the curve. But now it goes global. And there is a pathway, because I have so many messages and where to start, what to do. Is it the IABDM, the IAOMT? Is it this course, this course? My goal is just to create an ecosystem or an umbrella called BGS above, which is just the entrance pathway. So my teaching is online, right? The last decade as a software update. So it's the fastest way to get to the information, become a nutritional specialist and health expert. And then in the ecosystem, you know, there's the IABDM, and you know, there's this high-level teacher. Let's say you need Kelly Blodgett, you need Sharam Gennady, you need Katie Toe, you need all these different high-level teachers, which will then resonate with you to produce the best version of you, a real biodentist. And this is just streamlining everything instead of taking you 10 years to understand what we're really doing, right? Which is the path before.
So I'm curious, you are starting out, taking care of yourself, take care of patients, and now you will have so many dentists that looking at you as a mentor, you're teaching them, you're training them virtually, and they're flying to Germany to have hands-on training.
And they become patients.
Just become patient. My friend just had it done. So I'm like, oh wow, that's a big commitment. And that, I think, the biggest demonstration that you believe in what you practice.
Oh yeah.
Going through it and get it done yourself.
Learn it.
So how much time if you say, hey, I used to see patient 100%, and then now I'm starting to the mentorship and teachings and set of standardizations for biodentists, how much time do you see patient now versus
Back in the day?
Yeah.
So now, like my surgical days, I still do 2 surgical days a week, still.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost in the clinic every day, because I would say this year at least, I think every week was a real biodentist with me, learning and experience. So it's double effort. Like you do the surgery, but at the same time you're teaching and educating, because I want to share it. It's not about me, right? It's non-competitive. It's co-elevation. So I don't know what the future will hold like, but I still stay in practice. Mm-hmm. But my goal is to make me obsolete. It's literally to create real biodentists and copy what I've learned and the systems and produce an army of real biodentists because they're needed. Patients are looking actively for this, and there's no one there yet, because I cannot recommend anymore just go see a biological dentist, because it could be a biological root canal, which is oxymoron, with playing a singing bowl, versus what we do. So literally it's my responsibility to control this a little bit and create standardization. And of course, because it's now about to be opening clinics globally, especially in America, I have multiple opportunities. And I think it's just the verge of it. So because it's my journey, I don't never know how it will feel and look like. I have an idea about it, but I'm still going to continue, obviously, educating. I have to. I think the clinic in Germany, so we call this BGS, right? Biodentistry Global Standard. Let's say this is BGS 1. It's the blueprint. It's the training facility. Patients are flying in from all over the world. And I have an amazing clinical director now, which is obviously one of the best real biodentists now. And I know how to transfer thinking and how to also change the mindsets. Yeah, it starts with you. Yeah, real biodentists practice what they preach. Right. Abbreviated as Real B stands for Be Real. So yeah, this needs to be multiplied and brought to the planet. And yeah, I foresee that it's going to be at places all over the world, because literally there's abundance of patients that need our help. We need thousands of real biodentists. Don't be competitive and think he will do this, or this is a little bit of a problem I see with dentists and medical doctors, that they're oftentimes thinking scarcity, but there's so many. Essentially, everyone is our patient, and they all need our guidance. And we would just make sure that we speak the same language, and it's streamlined, and we create the new category, Biodentistry 3.0, and then bring this to university. Hopefully it's going to be in medical textbooks. Hopefully we'll teach this in university. I could easily teach this in university now. And I think it's actually the time. I'm just spread too thin to do this now. So first, bring the places, systemize, scale it, help many patients, create the movement, make it bigger, bigger, bigger. And then we all are there to help as many people as possible while still doing amazing work. So
Yeah. I see the vision, and it's exciting.
It's good, right?
Because right now I know that we're talking to the people that are looking for us.
Yeah.
But then I myself seeing a lot of people know nothing about the connection.
Oh yeah.
And when they meet us, they're like, oh my God, I make the connection and the dot. And that makes so much sense, because when I had this tooth done, and that's why my hair declined, and I could not get over it. And no matter what I do. And so to help people to raise awareness also is a big
It's super
responsibility.
important.
Yeah. Because if we want to change the sick care into health care, because in
Exactly.
America, we truly have a sick care. We
S-
wait
is
until patients have
same in Germany.
diabetes. We wait until patients need to have surgery.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's in the late 30 and just got gallbladder removal. And that's the number one surgery that they done in America is gallbladder surgery. And so
It's crazy.
we wait until they had to need surgery. We wait until they lose their teeth, and we wait until they have cavities. And so the sick care is what we've been really stuck on. And that's why healthcare go nowhere.
Exactly.
And so for me, it's not a responsibility to, like you mentioned, there's plenty of patients to go around. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Okay, how many people reach out to you on DM, on Instagram? You have millions of views every month. We have people like asking us, like, can we come in, become a patient all the time? So it's not about the abundance of patient. It's really about the message that you send out and the training that you get, right? So a lot of people said, why do I have to become IBDM members? And if I'm taking, Dr. Dome classes, I said, it's because we want to be
Inclusive.
yes,
And
we're going to be like in the same page.
stronger numbers.
Yes. And the fact that we as a nonprofit, we do a lot of research. A big part of our budget is actually research, and to make sure to support the clinician like you
Yeah.
who doing this and no longer looking at like, oh, this is a one case.
Oh yeah.
Or this is a one provider. We want to have numbers. The power is the numbers.
Yes.
Not just about, oh, one person doing it in Germany. It's like, no, we have people all around the
Exactly.
world doing this. And we also have to be mindful that in United States, every state have different regulation.
Oh yeah.
And so I love the fact that you're teaching this, but you're like, hey, make sure you be a part of this organization who actually doing research and also watching out for legislations changes, what supporting what we're doing versus in the risk of losing your license practicing this way because you're being a target.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And we
Exactly. And this is being stupid because I have been a target, right? So I had to make sure no one can ever attack me because the protocols are just so good when it comes to dentistry. No one ever can criticize this. Now it helps, of course, a lot to have, because ceramic implants are coming in and you have like 5,000 plus done. It's just a ton of experience. But all these protocols were done with arrows, right? So to make sure that what we're doing is highest consent, it is scientific. And the good thing is there's all the data, right?
Yeah.
So we do
Lots of
nothing,
data.
that's not woo-woo at all. Even though I'm interested in every single thing from spirituality to everything, what we're doing is literally medical science. And of course, we're living in an information overload. We're a different generation. The baby boomers we learned from, our professors, they literally could read a textbook every 2 years. Now information doubles every day, right? So it's exponential. It's AI now. You can't keep up. So my responsibility is that it's clear that this is the next level of our profession, and it includes everything we already do in dentistry, but it also makes it bigger because we're becoming a health expert and not just the dentist. This is scientifically based, but also controlled, that it's been done the same way so that the patients have the same experience and not see a biological dentist who just takes out all root canals, because that's just false. Yeah? Or does a biological titanium implant. We have to have the same language. And this is why IBDM is amazing, providing research, but also providing guidance. I think personally you should co-elevate and merge with IOMT. All of us should merge and make this huge, this movement, and go to 1% of dentists, 10% of dentists, because it's actually, like we said again, it's just the next level. And I'm just providing an entry pathway to connect the dots. That's it. And then of course, it's not just me, it's not just me doing this as a superstar in Germany. It's the opposite. It's possible everywhere, but you have to take responsibility and also upgrade and step up your knowledge. And then the training is there. And then of course, it's also experience. Of course, you don't want to just do a cavitation surgery and you're not a surgeon. You cannot do just whatever. And I see this, right? Unfortunately, in our field of holistic and biological dentists, oftentimes I see patients that got messed up by someone like this. It's pretty bad. I get why conventional dentists would say, holistic, it's instantly a bad rep, right? Same in Germany, it's exactly the same. But all my dental friends from university that said, you have to believe this, what you're saying, they're all completely convinced themselves by the science and doing this and have just a different approach. I see 1, maximum 2 patients per day. In the week, we maybe have like 10 patients flying in versus people seeing usually 50, even in biological dentistry. So conventional dentistry is dentistry 1.0, repair with whatever material, essentially looking for holes and maybe cosmetics and fixing bites and smiles. I would say dentistry 2.0 is biological dentistry, where you do this with better materials that are more, but it's still dentistry. What we do is biodentistry 3.0. It's the technician, highest level, plus becoming a health expert. And this is, I think, where you can help people overall and where we have the full-on evolution in our field and become real doctors.
Where do you see a physician? Because in the state of Texas, where I'm practicing, we always have a physician on the team
Oh, yeah.
of the patient. They're not working in our office, but we talk to them about all the blood work. We talk to them the plan. They have a plan for the patients in terms of the support. We share the plan that we're doing with the patient. And I know your protocols are super solid. Where do you see a physician, not in Germany, but for the dentists that you train in America?
So
Where do they see a physician in the relationships of that, or like?
Well, this is a network.
Collaboration.
This is it's always a collaboration. I have a medical director in my clinic, obviously,
Great.
and I have personally, I'm a naturopathic doctor too, right, and a functional medicine practitioner. So I'm that kind of health expert. I guide my medical doctors. So that's why I'm also on stages, like in the Buck Institute, where I can speak with all the medical doctors on their level because of my foundational knowledge. Because I understand that most dentists, unfortunately, forget about that they're medical doctors after university. They just drill fill and do the craftsmanship. So it's in collaboration, but I think once we have the knowledge update, we can own our part and then be strategic with functional medicine, right? They need us, we need them. So for example, for us, in the phase of, let's say, we take out all the stuff and we want to heal, the real biodentist owns this part, and we talk to this about the physician. Yeah, they might do the blood work next to it. It depends on your regulations, obviously. IV protocols may be done by them. If you can do a hyperbaric yourself, I don't know the regulations in the state of Texas, but you should partner then with maybe a little functional medicine doctor clinic. Just, it's one thing. We are the missing link for longevity, and we might miss the longevity part of it. So just merge it together, and then we become a one unit. Yeah, so there is no dentistry without medicine in the future. It's just one thing. This part is just extracted from medicine, and we just look at this part technically and don't understand medicine. So it's It's just a software update, right? And then it's always a network of co-elevation. We should all work together. And our common goal for any medical doctor or dentist should be guiding our patient to optimal health. That's it. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's first principle thinking.
Yeah. So that's making me thinking, because I'm doing a lot of professional networking,
Oh yeah.
because I don't see patient in my practice unless they have a medical doctor. Because first of all, patient take ownership. If you don't have
100%.
ownership, it's not going to work.
Not going to work.
Yes. And then second is they do have to have a medical doctor, because the medical doctor responsible for looking at the rest of the lab work, the body, and we telling them also what we plan to do and how we support the patient. Because I think that a lot of dentists, I don't know about in Germany, but in America, the education here is so focused on single tooth dentistry.
Yeah.
So when you graduate from dental school, you are single tooth dentistry. You
Yeah.
know that you need to go take a lot of CE. So a lot of comprehensive dentistry or full mouth or cosmetic even, you had to take extra training.
Of course.
So I agree with you that if the school didn't teach you, it's your responsibility to look for the courses and the training to equip
100%.
yourself. What are your thoughts about a dentist today that graduating
Oh.
this coming May? Right, May is
That's a good question.
graduation. Yeah. You
How-
talk to them and say, hey, you are a dentist graduating. You like a blank page.
Yeah.
You have not have any bad habit. You do have education, but maybe 50% of the education you learn from the dental school, it's just not current anymore.
No, it's completely
Right?
outdated.
Yeah. And so if it's still teaching amalgam restoration and you're still taking tests on the typodont, as you know, when you're practicing, you're not going to do that. So if you are graduating, you need to listen to this message from Dr. Dome. What that message would be if someone graduating in May.
The message would be very simple. So if you would be graduating in May, see this as the entrance card. It's not the finish line. You have to start to become a specific technician. You have to get the reps and learn everything from the best people in dentistry, but also there's a pathway to the health expert at the same time. This is how I saw it, luckily, because I was frustrated in university because the skills was easy, but there was something missing, right? So my dad told me this. Don't stop now, right before examination. It's only the entrance card, because what we studied was a curriculum from 1954 when I studied in 2003 to 2008. So it's just outdated. So my dad actually told me as a dentist, what you're learning right now is outdated. And I told him, it doesn't make sense to tell me this right now because I have to learn it anyways, but this is the entrance card. And I know you might be out in depth when you come out of university, right? But don't go into the trap of you have to work with insurances and all this stuff. We are completely private. We do nothing with insurances. You have to learn all this. And there is a pathway. Go to the IBDM, go to all these things, do the online course straight away and learn as much as you can. This is the biggest investment of your life. And of course, get the skills. Yeah, learn from the best people. And they're all there. The highest schools of thoughts are there. And we just have to melt it. And maybe you and me, we're good resources to guide you what you don't have to do. Because of course, taking CE credits, it's again, how can you navigate this forest, right? It's too much information. You could do this specialist. I also did a curriculum for aesthetic dentistry at the beginning, which was 13 weekends, 1.5 years long.
Yeah.
And I didn't really learn a lot. It was just like, oh, I already learned that in dental online college.
Yeah.
Because technically speaking, maybe that's just my bias because I had light hands or good hands. It's easy for me. For me, this is all a trick. I see this and I can just emulate and then do it by reps, just do it. But maybe it's because I'm an athlete. So that's how I learned skateboarding.
Yeah.
This is how you do a kickflip and then you just do it until you do 10 out of 10. So this is how I see the practical work.
Yeah.
And you have the highest skills. I think if you do coachman courses in digital dentistry, highest dentistry aesthetics, all of the DSD people would instantly resonate with what we do because the ceramic implant is also just way more aesthetic. And even though they're not there with the health yet. So this is the entrance. It's just the entrance card. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And there is a pathway for all the newbies.
Yes. And you gotta have mentor.
Oh yeah,
You cannot
100%.
navigate this by yourself. And then community.
And you would agree that having a mentor and investing in your future, this is the biggest leverage that you have. I invested
I'm
millions.
always put analogy, and I think Lewis behind the camera would laugh at this. Tom Brady have
Oh yeah,
so many coaches and so many people helping him to get to the
highest level
right,
to go.
the
Yeah.
greatest of all time. And if you want to be a great dentist, not just a good enough dentist, because nobody graduates from dental school and say, I just want to be a good enough dentist. I want to be a great dentist. then you have to decide who's going to be on my team
Yeah.
to coach me.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Who's I want to learn, who's have the ideal practices or ideal philosophy that I want to follow. And then you're going to just, laser in and do that. And
I
you're
love
not
that.
wasting time, right? Because a lot
Laser
of them just
focus.
FOMO. They're like, oh, my friend took that static. My friend took this course and my friend took that course. And then, no, what do you want? So whenever doing
yeah.
Hami, I was asking like, what is your goal? What do you want to practice with joy? And that's something you're going to be able to serve for a long time.
Yeah.
Because to me, I don't think that people realize this is draining a lot of energy. That's why we have to take care of ourselves because we're giving energy away.
Oh yeah.
We're a healer.
Yeah.
And so no wonder dentists go home and say, I'm so tired because you've been taking care
True.
of people all day long.
That's amazing. Yeah, laser focus is what it is, and I think if you have mentors, they have done it.
Yeah.
And I was always impressed by professionals. That's why I wanted to become a professional skateboarder, right? And a professional doctor now, because success leaves clues, and you can just ask and guide, and then of course listen to what resonates with you. It might be Katie, and she can guide you, right? And there is an organization, or it might be me, and I can guide you too, to get to this level as fast as possible. It took me 20 years, right, to build all this, and it's a 20-year overnight success, right? It's like there's a lot of work behind this, hours and hours, but it's the best investment is into yourself, and of course into your knowledge and into your mentoring. But don't fall into the trap of like the fear state mind, like scarcity. Trust your gut. The goal thing is best. You have to have your purpose. You have to have a goal set. What do you want to do?
Clarity, what you want to be.
Yeah, it's clarity.
Yes.
Who do you want to be? What is your goal? Do you want to really help patients overall and do amazing work? Then there's a pathway, yeah? And find the right people. And yeah, just then don't lose your passion. Just go for it and listen to your gut. And I also said this yesterday on stage. Real biodentists start with ourselves. We practice what we preach, because dentistry is not a desktop job. It's high performance. You have to be laser focused also for your patients.
Very demanding.
It's very, very demanding. So I track everything on this wearable, and I have crazy days. And
matching.
yeah, exactly. We're not married, right? Crazy days, and I have zero stress. It's all by design. But I treat this body as like as like a temple. Oh, this is my car. So it's a Ferrari mindset. You want to go 300 miles per hour and don't fly out of the curve, you have to have the car ready. Yeah, you can't be a Kia without a brake. So that's implemented in my software update, is that you start with yourself and you practice what you preach first, and then your body stays young and sharp and your mind is laser focused and you do not crash and you do not have all the back pain that all the dentists have. So this is all by design. And I just had my MRI last week, my first one, my full body MRI, and the doctor radiologist said, I'm a bit envious, like you look like you're a young kid. But because I have no visceral body fat, lots of musculature, but just the performance, right? I treat my body like a high performance athlete. And I do treat a lot of high performance athletes. So I feel we have to lead by example. And this is implemented in the teachings, that you don't burn out as a dentist, that you have fun. And also seeing 50 patients a day is burning you out. It's not a relationship thing. That is what you say. That's sick care. And you don't remember anyone. I remember every single patient I see. This is the museum of life, where I think in the future, I want to have a perfect memory of every experience in my life, and don't want to say, oh no, I should have done it, right? And yeah, this will resonate. And this is why it's so important that we, as the leaders in all of this, co-elevate and speak to each other and design the pathway for the new generation to come, because they're different. And we're not in the fear state. I'm not. I'm rather naive than paranoid, versus I learned from people that are paranoid rather than naive.
Yeah.
Just navigate through this world, their tools, have fun, and help as many people as possible. That's the goal.
You know what the good news is? I talk to a lot of young dentists because a lot of people make comment that our annual conference is younger.
Yeah.
Which is great.
It's great.
Because we don't want you to make 20 years, 30-year mistakes and realize, wake up one day and say, I'm so sick. My patient is so sick.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Exactly.
We actually seeing that younger generation now, very health focused and wellness focused.
Yes.
That's why they're into biohacking. That's why they want to take care of themselves. That's why they don't work 5 days a week anymore.
Of course.
It's hard to find a newly grad me like, okay, you're going to work 5 days a week, because there's no way you have time for yourself and take good care of a patient when you drain like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good news that the young dentists already health focused. You know, we know at our conference, they don't drink alcohol. They go to bed early. They don't party. You're like, that's great.
It's great. There's a complete shift. I think we were transitional phases where, like, what are we, millennials? So I was obviously working after university. I made almost zero money. I saw this as training. And I was working 120 hours and was doing courses over the weekend. And in my 30s, I missed everything because I was just laser focused on doing reps, and articles pushing it out. But I see, yes, the new generation, they work more. Is very good news. But it's also sometimes, I don't want to say hacking is an issue. We don't want to hack anything.
We don't want to cheat anything.
We don't want to hack anything. So you don't have to maybe work as hardcore stupid like as we did.
Yeah.
But if you have in mind that you want to have a nice work-life integration, I don't believe in work-life balance, it's work-life integration.
Yeah.
You have to work on yourself, be healthy, that's great. And also know, for example, I'm just seeing 1 to 2 patients a day, and it's possible. And I only do full mouth cases, right? Mm-hmm. So that's it. It's amazing. It's there. Yeah. And what is this single tooth focused dentistry, or how you call it?
Single tooth dentistry.
Single tooth dentistry, that's outdated. That doesn't work. We don't want to keep our patients to find another hole. Yeah. We do 2 phases, maybe 3. And then I don't want to see any patients for the rest of my life for dental repair anymore. They can come in for health optimization, but this should be finished, like finished product.
Yeah. So for the one that graduating this May, you have an amazing opportunity to avoid the 20, 30-year mistake that most biological dentists, by the time they figure it out, they're already in it for too long.
True.
And
they're already sick.
Yeah. Too sick, really sometimes too sick to start over. And so if you're graduating, this is your opportunity to ask the question. Send him a DM and say, how can I start this journey?
Yeah.
Send us a question and say, hey, can I be the member? And can I go ahead and start a journey? Where do I start? Because the mentorships are there. You just have to ask.
Oh, yeah, they're there. But that's what I mean by pathway. There is no pathway for newbies, but there is a pathway. Mm-hmm. We just have to make sure that we know what the pathway is. And we also know as the top level, it's like, oh, maybe this is literally the fastest entrance into everything. And you're right now doing my online program. Mm-hmm. So this is 10-year compression. So this is what I learned in Streamline and Coffee Filter. This is not a 120-hour course. It's 10 hours straight. You know what I mean by software update? Mm-hmm. By that I mean it's iOS 26.3, right? Yeah. So if I see
version that is just like an Apple computer.
It's also obviously to make my mind on ease, because if you're coming from university, we literally do not have the software update. So you won't understand what I'm saying. So therefore there is this software update, and then you can see me in person, because I don't want to start over and tell you everything from scratch. It's all there. Information's out there. Yeah. And I put everything for free out there. Just follow on Instagram, do everything. It's all there. From just knowing it or my book to the full-on education. It's there. It's a pathway. And it's just a warp. It's just warp speeding it to get you as fast as possible to where you want to be. Yeah. And an entrepreneur. Maybe.
One of the dentists yesterday, he probably showed you, he was reading your book when he on the
Yeah, he showed me.
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Yeah. And then the good thing is you know, when you know the path, you have the clarity, you have the information, you have to be patient. Yeah. I think people want to be overnight success because they already spent 4 years in dental school. But again, that's the ticket for you to practice. That's the thing for you to get your license. But your responsibility when you come out for yourself, for your patient, is invest in yourself and have that clarity and have that mentor, but be patient with the process. None of us become master overnight.
How old are you when you graduated in America? Like roughly?
For dental school, I graduated college at 21 and graduate dental school at 25.
Yeah, me too. I was 25. So the next 5 years, invest in learning as much as possible. But like you said, with a laser focus what your goal is. And then you can become one of the best in 5 years if you learn from the right people, technically as well as overall health. 5 years, all in, you're one of the best. That's it.
And the good news is you don't have to take 20 years.
Exactly. Took long.
Or 16 years to get there, right?
So
we done the groundwork.
We
already, do the breakthrough for you. All you need to do is just like have a clarity, because you know what you want to do. And if you don't have that clarity, I'm telling you, you're going to take the wrong decision, make the wrong decision, take the wrong path every time. So have the clarity, set your mind, laser focus on what program and what mentor you're going to follow.
And then boom.
Yes.
And then massive action.
Yeah. And you don't have to wait 5 years to see the result. You see the result
straight away.
And then you'll be like, oh my God, I want to tell everybody about this.
Exactly, that's the goal. You change. So in the course, you change your mindset straight away. Mm-hmm. You become a healthcare practitioner, not sick care, and you upgrade. And it's literally the fastest way possible to learn everything. And then, of course, if you see one of us in person, it's even faster then, because you learn through osmosis. It's warp speed learning. It's all there. Just take the ticket.
And you hear from us. We're willing to share.
Oh yeah,
It's just
100%,
that
not
people,
competitive. It's
yeah,
co-elevation.
people are like thinking like, oh, I have to do this program. I'm like, no, you should do everything. Because if you don't, then how do you know which one worked for you? But when you start out, pick one and focus on it and finish it. Because what I noticed with a lot of dentists, they start and they don't finish.
That's correct. And oftentimes they start, maybe that's because they start with a too technical one. So let's say on this pathway to becoming biodentistry 3.0, or a real biodentist, for example. If we all would be real biodentists, the fastest way is always bridging the knowledge gap, right? You come out with knowledge gaps. You're just the software. You have the software, and then you can see, okay, I need to become a surgeon. I want to be one, right? For example. And then in the ecosystem, it's quite clear, okay, then it makes sense to do this course. But I see many in this community starting with a very highly focused technical course, but they don't have the software update. So it takes them sometimes 10 years to figure that all out. So literally it is not bridge the knowledge gaps first and then see what you actually like to do. And the surgery we're doing is for every single general dentist. I'm also a general dentist. Yeah, you don't have to become an oral surgeon for that, what we do. It's literally, if you have good hands and you know how to take out a tooth without breaking any bone, and you learn how to learn this, and you maybe even afraid of a surgeon being a traumatic experience, and this is why you don't do it, we do the opposite. I'm a very empathetic, very sensitive person, so I learned surgeries without big traumas and big cuts, versus I learned to do impacted wisdom teeth 4 in an hour, right? Which means you look like Rocky Balboa hit your face, because it's about speed. But also because I feel other people's pain, the protocols are designed so they have literally no pain and no swelling. So this is what oftentimes female dentists shy away from, because they think surgery is so massive. No, what we do is literally loophole, scarless, flapless surgeries. And it's amazing. And I actually converted a lot of later dentists in their stages. They're all like, oh no, I'm only a prosthetic dentist. Even my associate in the clinic, Dr. Tania, she never wanted to do surgeries, but then she can easily do surgeries because it's not more than a filling, right?
And that's where a lot of transformation comes.
Yeah, it's transformation.
Yeah, and that's, to me, I think that's the highest currency, is when you know that you make a shift and the difference in the patient's life.
Oh yeah.
When they come in and tell you, my brain fog lifted,
Oh yeah.
and they look at you, they're like, I thought it's temporary, but it's been 6 months and it's
Yeah.
like gone. And I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Exactly. I had 32 years of migraines, and after seeing you and taking out oral interference, I never had it again. And I'm just getting goosebumps and thinking, oh my, this poor lady waited for 32 years, and now she has her life back from 18 to 52 or whatever. Yeah. Chronic migraine is hell. And it was the root canals, the cavitations, the metals, and the oral interference, because everything else she had to figure out for herself already.
And so I know you mentioned about want to start with you, and you walk the talk. So I'm sure a lot of people are curious. What are the top 3 non-negotiable wellness practices? I know your list is long. I know you're doing a lot.
Not so much, actually.
Top 3. I want a top 3 non-negotiable wellness daily practices.
Yeah.
Not too much. Okay.
No, actually not. So of course they call me an OG biohacker, but I see it as lifestyle design. So everything should support optimal health. And if you need 80 pills a day to sleep well, that's not optimal health. Like, that wouldn't resonate with me. And I don't want to have a 3-hour morning routine. That also is not sustainable. Yeah. So my non-negotiable is obviously, I would say number 1 is optimal sleep.
Oh, thank you.
That is non-negotiable. And I've been guilty of it in the past because I'm a high performer. It's like, I can easily shave off 2 hours of my sleep. And in my 30s, I thought, if I go to bed at 10 p.m., the hours before midnight count double. So if I wake up at 4 a.m. and go to train, that will be all right. So I did that, but I burned the candle on both ends. So sleep is non-negotiable, but you don't need 50 pills for good sleep. There's solid strategies behind it. Then my daily routine is circadian rhythm. I wake up usually at the same time, roughly an hour in between. So I go to bed at 9 to 10 p.m. latest, and then I wake up 5 to 6 a.m. And I start with, I would say, nutrition is the most important thing as a foundational. So you have to understand nutrition, because this is the building blocks you're delivering for your system on a daily basis to keep this pristine and healthy. So this is non-negotiable, how I design the food, and then movement and exercise. And of course, going outside, that's the same thing. So all the foundations of health. And then also it's community, and it's surrounding yourself with like-minded, positive people. And I also am a father and a family man, and I am a businessman at the same time. So I don't want to do the mistakes my dad made and wasn't there. So I wanted to have this too. And of course, practice, teach, and preach and live this. So it's all by design to have a non-stress life. Yeah. And my day is organized in a seasonal state. So I wake up in the morning, hydrate, and I do sport. Any movement. It's not only strength training, but it is also training for musculature, because this is my motor. If I don't train, I walk. And I have my me time, let's say this is an hour in the morning. And then I see the family, I cook the breakfast, and we have a little bit of time before school. I have 4 kids. And then I see, this is my springtime. I have all the creation, the ideas, and movement for me just grounds everything. It's a good start to the day. And then I would say summer is when I just perform. That's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I just do surgeries and I'm straight in. I don't do any breaks, maybe 10-minute pee break. And I have my diet on point. My food is prepared. It's all with me to give me the building blocks, because nutrition is your information or not. You can't be having this high performance lifestyle without being supported by the right fuel. And then it's autumn. That means I might do emails, I might do calls, I might do other things. And then I have winter, which is, let's say, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., where I have non-negotiable is my dinner with my family, where we eat real food that supports us. And then we maybe watch this one season in Netflix I have 4 kids, right? So I want to see them. And then I sleep, rinse, and repeat. And I embody this, and this is why my whole team and every dentist, all of my patients, they do this too. They learn this through osmosis just by hanging with me. And of course, I had 20 years to do all this, and I'm an extremist, and I tested it all. So I've been dogmatic at times. If you met me 2009, I would have been a dogmatic person. But once you master everything, you know which tool to use, and it needs to be a balanced lifestyle. Balance, by that I mean my balance. My balance is not going 300 miles per hour all the time, but I can if I need to, but I don't crash. And it's also, I fall out of bed with like a massive transformative purpose. So you can't stop me. And I think a secret is also, maybe a non-negotiable, is how you fine-tune your mindset and you do not focus on yourself. If you have a purpose in life, I don't have time to even think about me. I just think about how to help as many people as possible, have time with my family, be in the present, and enjoy every second of this amazing life.
We say in high performance is like a vision bigger than yourself. Then, like, for example, a lot of us, that's our kid. That's how we're so tired, but we're still going to make time for that.
Of course.
If it's our purpose or our vision is like a better care for our patient, transform from sick care to the health care, you will get out of bed. And sometimes you can't wait to get out of bed. Get the game going.
I fall out of bed
every
every morning.
Yes. So I appreciate you sharing that, because every guest on the show always sharing that top 3 wellness, and no one ever have the exact 3. So I love that people actually learn something from listening to the shows and watching the show and say, oh, wow, I actually, because I agree with you. We always like, oh, I'm going to get up early and go work out. But today, if you meet me, I'm like, between workout and sleep all the way.
Always, yeah. There was a time.
First.
There was a time when I cut off sleep. That is stupid. You burn your candle on both ends. I can, because I'm obviously a high performer, but it's just stupid. And yeah, just have that on point. It's essentially, it's pretty boring, because it's all about just foundationals and habits. If you have those habits, and the habits also go with your mindset, and this is something with the mindset I transformed to the Real Biodentist. That's why it's application only. It's about frequency, but I also transformed this to my whole team. If you meet my team in person, it's an extended family, and I treat them this way. And this is like it's all one thing. It's your lifestyle. This is the same thing. You shouldn't accept every patient, because they might not even fit you, and they might drain you, like you said. So it's a fun thing. I just love to be on the planet. Maybe I had my calling because I know how it feels to be on the other side. If you're sick and you think you can't be normal again, it's pretty terrible. And then you appreciate it more. And I'm just grateful being here and sharing this and yeah, leading. I'm happy to be a leader in this field, and yeah, I just continue to do this.
You answer the call. That's what it is. So thank you so much for your time. It was a great conversation.
Thank you for having me.
And we're gonna have to catch up. And I want to do one when I visit you in Germany.
Oh yeah,
Can't
we
wait
do
for
this.
that,
This
Joe.
will be amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
Cheers, guys.
You know where to follow. He's so famous. You know where to follow. But can you share your social media hashtag handle, because people want to ask you a question? I know.
Of
after
course.
this session.
I'm there all the time. I'm trying to also answer most of the DMs. It's many. My Instagram handle is @DrDome1. This is DRDOME and the number 1. That's Instagram. That's the simplest. And then you can just click on the links in the bio, and you find everything from clinic to education.
And the website
to
for your training.
Website for the training is bgs-institute.com. BGS for Biodentistry Global Standard.
Yeah. We put everything in the show note
Oh,
for
thank
you.
you.
So just go look there and stay tuned and follow for more. All right. Have
Thank
a
you.
great day. Bye.